Welcome back to Kind Heart Homestead. My name is Ben, and I'm here up in our off-grid property in the mountains of Virginia. Behind me is the solar shed, which I'm hoping for the framing inspection to pass today. I've never had a framing inspection done before, so when the guy comes today, I want to make sure to be here, so if he has any instruction for me, I can take notes. But I have the partition wall. There should be one more partition wall in there behind the shower, but I told him that I'd like to wait until I'm actually installing the shower and getting the plumbing hooked up. And he said that's fine. They'll just review that framing when they come back to review the plumbing. Anyway, I need to get all of these tools and all this stuff moved out of the way. I think I have a few hours to do it, so I'm not under too much pressure, but it's not going to be until I move all of the scrap boards, the sheathing, anything leaning on the building, that I'll know for sure if I got all of the nails correct. So I did have to buy more sheathing nails. I think they're 2-inch galvanized nails for my nail gun. I'll have to open that up if I missed any nails, but it seems like one big box of those pass load sheathing nails was the perfect size for this building. I'm down to the last clip. So anyway, stick around, watch a time lapse of me cleaning this up, and then we'll see what else I can get working on today. Thanks.
So high I'm hypnotized. What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through. Times don't fly too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever if you keep it tight. Love the world but keep the sky on your mind. I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side, PCH country limit. I don't need a guide, follow lights, take me where I wanna visit. Are you alive? Or just breathing? Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute.
The inspector just left. We have good news. He signed off on the framing inspection. There were a few tips he gave me, and I guess you could call it a mistake on my part. I put those gussets up. The code book that I was reading said that you can use gussets instead of a ridge board. The inspector had never heard of that. It turns out that was a 2015 IRC clause that has since been removed for the 2018 building codes. And now it says nothing about the gussets. Even before, all it said was that gussets can be used, and it didn't say how to make a gusset, how to secure it. So I basically made them pretty minimal. You can see the green gusset triangles up there. Each, I guess you would call it a truss or whatever, has 8 points of connection. Each side of each gusset has 4 nails, and each assembly has 2 gussets, so that's 8 nails. He said, I guess, that it's probably strong enough. I overbuilt most of this stuff. That was the only point of contention. He said, definitely in a house, I need to do a ridge beam or a ridge board. So that was already something I had decided. After I had done this, I realized building myself, it would have been easier to have a ridge board to lean things to. So that's really good. I asked him about the breaker panel and if it's okay to be in that utility room, only accessible through an exterior door. The code says that all occupants have to have access to the breaker panel. This is not an occupied space, so that should be fine. I asked him if I can add a mini split or if I need to add, I guess, pay for mechanical inspection, which I hadn't previously done in the scope of this project. I'm just doing a pretty basic 120 volt mini split. He said I could just throw that up. That's fine. I can do the plumbing inspection and the electrical inspection together or separate. He just said I have to make sure to do the same leak test for the vent pipes as I did to check for leaks before the slab was poured. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to make the pipe go out and then go up high enough to make that test. And then I guess I can cut that short afterwards. So this is all good news. And now I have permission to continue with the process. I just have to wait and hold off on installation until I have the plumbing and electrical signed off on, which makes sense. And then we'll be good to go. So I'm gonna start working on that now. And I'm pretty excited, so stay tuned. I had collected all of the scraps of zip sheathing and stacked them neatly on these sawhorses just to get them out of the way for the framing inspection. What I'd like to do is completely sheathe one of the walls in the utility room for the purposes of mounting all of my electronics. So that would be including the breaker panel, but also the really heavy loads such as the batteries and the inverters, charge controllers, all that kind of stuff. And that might even take 2 layers of this because this is only 1/2 inch and it's not true plywood. It's kind of an OSB product. So it's probably safer to hang things that weigh hundreds of pounds without having to find a stud by doubling this up to make it 1 inch. So I'm gonna start with this first piece here. My idea is to run it vertically, but I do need to trim about 1 inch off lengthwise to make sure that the seam falls on a stud.
I feel like I wanna do, I'm living life like I got nothing left to prove. No end in sight, just always staying on the move. I'll go all night if that's just what I gotta do. Life's too short to care about what you can't afford. Memories are in what you explore, so just don't be ignored. Go ask for more, go ask for more. Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side, PCH country limit. I don't need a guide, follow lights, take me where I wanna visit. Are you alive? I'll just breathe in. Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side, PCH country limit. I don't need a guide, follow lights, take me where I wanna visit. Are you alive? I'll just breathe in. I'm in a race that everybody's chasing fast. They wanna be that someone on the screen at last. They ain't looking inside for their needs in life. They wanna be like by everybody in sight. But trust me, being free ain't spotlights. No, it's long nights and it's long fights with yourself all the time to get your mind right. But if you put in the work, you can find the light, alright? I'll do anything that I feel like I wanna do. I'm living life like I got nothing left to prove. No end in sight, just always staying on the move. I'll go all night if that's just what I got.
So I'm getting ready to install my breaker panel, and there's going to be a partition wall here, but I basically knew that I wanted the 2 layers of zip sheathing here, and I just let the ends run long. I can always cut it back when I install that wall if it's in the way. So anyway, back to the panel. I have the panel here, and it's a bit heavy to hold and to try to level at once. So I went ahead and drew a level line at 4 feet, which I believe is the minimum distance from the floor that the panel can be. I also measured how far from the bottom of the panel the screw holes are for mounting. I do want to flush mount this, so I'm not putting it between the studs, and that gives me flexibility to put this anywhere on the wall. I measured up, and I put a little tick mark where the screws need to go. So I'm gonna put those 2 in and see if it works.
And for the first time in a long time, I'm alright. I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago.
Alright, that's close enough. But what my goal was with this flush mount configuration is to allow me to attach conduit directly to the box to feed any of the other utility stuff in this room, including the inverter, maybe even the pressure tank for the well pump. And then that lets me just do a knockout anywhere that's convenient, and then I can just staple stuff to the wall also. And then if I ever need to add more circuits in the future, it's just as simple as putting one of those locking nuts somewhere and then just running wire straight in. But my main concern was the only stud bay that I would have been able to put this in would have been the first bay, and that puts it way too close to the wall. I went ahead and opened like the cover panel with the door on it, and I measured the center to the edge of the open door, and that was 11 inches. So I rounded it up to 12 in case I ever add drywall or something to this side. This door will be able to open.
Way back a year ago.
Well, I just cut my main wire for the first circuit that I've wired in this building. You notice that this is white. This is a smaller gauge because lights and fans don't need that much power. So I'm gonna have one circuit for all of the lights in this building. That's the bathroom lights, the main room lights, as well as the smoke detector and fans. So I'm trying to get some things ready to start putting more of those electrical boxes up. And one trick that I wanted to do to find the center of the room was I snapped a chalk line diagonally both ways. The intersection was right here. I actually drilled a small hole just in case the chalk wore away, but this block is actually in my way because I put the blocks relatively centered in the space, and there's not enough clearance to fit the fan mount box here. So I'm going to knock this block out. Since I removed the block that has the center of the room line on it, I had to find the next parts of the string line. And that's why I did a chalk line, because I can use a straight edge to trace the visible marks and find the center, or I can put up a string like this. So let me show you what I'm going to do. I built this contraption. I have a horizontal 2x4, so I was able to screw this box directly into it. But I also salvaged the 2x6 that I removed so I could nail it in from the side. So this thing is going to be solid. I just need to get it up there and nail it into place. This box right here is always going to be live. This is where the smoke detector is going. And I decided to do a short run from the breaker panel, which is behind that wall over there, to here. And since this will always be energized, I can then feed the front light switch and the bathroom light switch from here to give those the hot connection, which the switch will then transfer over to the lights and the fan or whatever. It's starting to feel a bit smaller in here now that I have this partition wall up. As you can see behind me, I've been wiring all of the boxes. Over here in the utility room, I have 5 circuits wired. Obviously, there would be more once we have the well pump wired up and things like that. All of the crap has been thrown into this corner, which is the bathroom. And I still have to put up a partition wall separating the bathroom from the utility room. And I'm not going to wire the bathroom with its GFCI protected outlet until I have that wall up and the shower installed. Basically, I think I have to shift the wall based on where the shower is going to go. And it's a very unusual shower that requires framing to go sideways. Don't ask me why it was designed that way. I think it's just to help support the thin material where the shelves are. Anyway, if you enjoyed seeing some of this electrical, I hope you would go ahead and subscribe so you can keep up to date with what's going on in our off-grid projects. So I'll see you next time on Kind Heart Homestead. Thanks.